Hey, what's up guys? This is Oakley and we're going to be doing a Rome 2 siege, 1 versus 1 siege. So the scales, the stakes are not that large, but I wanted to bring it to you. It's a pretty freaking awesome setting. So here I am over here as the Romans moving forward. I have Julius Caesar as using my commander ability, so I figured I'd roleplay a little bit. And here you go, we're going to be moving on a siege. Perhaps we can imagine this took place during Caesar's campaigns in Gauls. 2 siege towers have been constructed for the purposes of taking the city. A couple little units up here stationed, looking around at what's going on here, trying to anticipate what's going on the city defenses, and so far it has been mysteriously quiet. We're also moving forward with 2 groups of veteran legionnaires moving up in this position. They're moving up the siege towers. So here they go, or not siege towers, siege ladders, pushing these up. And at the gates, still no word of what's going on here. More of my men moving up into position. Let's actually see what it's like through here so they can kind of get visibility on the gates. Still, it's quiet. So as a cautious commander, what I've done is I've held a couple units back in reserve. One of these being my armored legionnaires, auxiliary Syrian archers. And all of a sudden, what's going on? It seems the music has changed. So combat is going to start very soon. We're still not entirely sure what's happening, but threat levels are elevated. I have my first cohort over on the left coming in as reinforcements, and then 2 of my veteran legionnaires. And here is what's going on. Suebi forces have actually decided to sally forth out of the city. My legionnaires are immediately going to abandon their siege equipment, but not before they get hit. More of the forces are going to stream out of the city. It's an ambush attack on this side. So here they come, charging after my men. My Syrian archers are going to get some shots off against these guys, who are now going to pursue with haste all my units. My commander has called back some of the veteran legionnaires. They're going to be coming back to the assistance of my units, as these cavalry are going to try and just hit all of my siege equipment, knock some legionnaire out. So a very bold sallying, something that we should have tried to anticipate. But my legionnaires are a sturdy stock, and every time he stops, I can charge him with the rest of my men in the rear. Here he goes. My commander is actually, Julius Caesar, is at the most important point of the battlefield. The archers, the only ones who can keep his cavalry in check. One of my legionary units, Centurion, showing his proper leadership, has pulled back to the defense of the archers. And there we go, we're going to be continuing to pick these guys off as they wheel about and try and hit my legionnaires. You can see them cutting down my legionnaires over in the distance here. So it is a mess at this point. He's still doing a lot of damage to my men. A couple of these groups have been left out in the snow, but you know, they're taking the opponents with them. Look at this in the distance. More cavalry are coming in. It's a full scale sally. So my guys are going to try and reform with their general. So here they come moving forward. And as I played through this battle, it kind of reminded me of the historical scenario that took place during Caesar's campaigns, where many times you'd find his units outnumbered by the enemy Gauls and perhaps even Germanic forces in the vicinity, and you would have had to rely on the tribunes, the sub-commanders, the centurions, all to act bravely and rally their forces against innumerable, opponents. This happened several times. One of the events I wanted to recount is, and I actually have some units continuing up to the city gates, so we're going to start seizing that, moving into the city. But one of the events I wanted to recount was during Caesar's campaigns, he had to bed down for the winter. Caesar would return back to Switzerland during that time, usually during the winter, not always, but most of the time he would return during those campaigns. His legions, however, would bed down in Gaul, a couple of them actually setting up legionary bases in various positions. And one time when they were doing this, they receive a messenger, a Gallic messenger, who desperately says basically something to the effect that the other legion is in, they're imperiled, they're under attack from major forces. Quick, let me lead you over to them and we can sally forth and beat back the Gauls. So that legionary base basically does what that messenger told. They went quickly to the aid of their allies, and as they did that, as they exited their camp, they were then ambushed along the way by other Gauls. So it was a trap. And the Gauls destroyed, I believe, that entire legionary base. I'm not sure if it was a whole legion, but yeah, so you definitely had to watch your back in these scenarios, and that is kind of what we learned at this battle, is that my guys are getting cut down. So Caesar definitely had to be very wary on his campaigns. Now I'll pop this open. You can see, basically, Caesar over here is going to be rallying his men, charging into the enemy forces, making sure they're pinned and destroyed. The rest of my units over here, I believe, where's my first cohort at? There you go, he's going to be rallying the men, giving them a lot of morale support. And we're going to be chasing off the enemy forces who are continuing to circle around like wolves. The general, it looks like, is continuing to be in the distance. So they're going to come round after my men. Very scary sight. So getting the charge bonuses off. But as sturdy infantry as legionnaires, they should be able to hold out against these waves. And there's my general actually engage. During the Gallic campaign, Caesar actually would have been sporting, I believe it was 200 Gallic bodyguards. Or not Gallic, Germanic bodyguards. So he had usually a hefty contingent of bodyguards at the same time, kind of all over him. I'm not sure who these guys are supposed to be. It looks like they're more of the Punic War era, judging by... No, I'm not sure. But they definitely don't look like the legionary cavalry. Anyway, Syrian archers are still alive, and they're kind of a crucial part of beating back the opponents. I've been able to keep them unmolested, and anytime the opponents, you can see those arrows taking flight, anytime my opponent is caught on one of my infantry, a couple volleys and I get to pick off more of them, do more HP damage, deal death to them. So the horses have, you know, been alerted to this. They know what's going on, so they're going to be chasing after my guys, but I'm going to form a defensive perimeter with my infantry, pulling through these guys, and I should be able to hold this back. Here comes another charge right into my men. So this is continuing to happen on the outskirts of the battle, but meanwhile we have penetrated into the city with the remainder of my guys. I have auxiliary infantry charging through here, and I have to say the snow effects on the buildings look very, very cool. So here comes my guys. We're going to come reclaim the city, and it is eerily quiet. However, there aren't really any defenders here. Smoke at the gates. They've kind of abandoned the remainder of my forces on the inside, but Caesar, my commander, has given them the go-ahead to go ahead and seize the entire city for themselves. Meanwhile, he will be the distraction on the outside, and all of my guys are now retreating back into a defensive position around the archers. Again, these guys circling like wolves around prey, but with my pillar support, archer support, it's slowly going to be taking the toll on these guys. And then here comes my veteran legionnaires just to be able to keep these guys at bay. Man, I'm taking a lot of damage in these fights, but here comes, I believe, first cohort, no armored legionnaires, and that should be the end of the enemy cavalry. Still, no, actually, no, that's my general. So I've been able to beat them back. There you go, that's the last one, the noble riders, beating them back. And my own units back here have made it to the city center unopposed. It looks like there's nothing in here, so they're going for the cap. So definitely a very interesting battle. My opponent decided to sally forth. Now, it could have been more effective. Originally, I had all my guys spread out over here for an attack, and then he typed something in chat to me right like 10 seconds before the battle started. He's like, good luck, you're going to need it, or something like that. And I was like, he's probably going to do something really cheesy. So in the last couple seconds, I moved all of my guys over here and hit start. So that gave me a little more time. You can see here when I started this battle, I was able to roll my artillery, my equipment forward. Had I been over here, had I been separated, he would have been on me way quicker. I'm assuming he had all his cavalry waiting ready at the gates to sally forward. It would have been probably a slaughter, but because I was, I caught on to something wasn't quite right, I moved my guys over here. So it's that, I guess, the general's intuition that kept me alive. So let's go ahead and end the replay and look a little bit at the stats here. Yeah, my opponent not getting too many kills. My guys who penetrated into the city got no kills. The rest on the outside getting a pretty good amount of kills themselves. Syrian archers definitely doing work. Anyways, a short but sweet battle, but nonetheless rather interesting, I thought. And it had a little bit of historical context to me, I felt. It reminded me of Caesar's Gallic campaigns. Anyways, hope to see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know what you'd like to see in the future. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.